If proof were needed of how the voluntary sector can transform lives, then look to David Mills. After 6 years volunteering with the Open Youth venue in Norwich, he's been offered a full-time job. In terms of the number of people alone, the third sector is now outstripping some of Britain's traditional big industries. And in Norfolk, it plays a critical part in the economy as well as the community, with 22,500 people currently active as volunteers. Voluntary Norfolk has run a workforce development project funded by Norfolk County Council. And the Chief Executive of Voluntary Norfolk, Brian Horner, says volunteering is a perfect way of skilling up.
One of our mantras is volunteering as a route into training, skills and then ultimately hopefully work. We set great store by those people who come to our volunteer centres who are looking for a change of career, perhaps been made redundant, maybe left college looking for something or even looking for a career change. We can provide them volunteer placements either with ourselves or with other voluntary organisations. They can get a taste of what it's like being in the voluntary sector.
The Citizens Advice Bureau relies on volunteers as well as staff. All are trained to very high standards. It's a perfect example of an organisation which has taken training and development in-house.
We recognise talent in the Bureau, and if people have potential, we're there to develop it. Quite a lot of people move on to paid employment as a result of their experience in the Bureau. Now, some of them become paid employees with us, some of them will go outside. Norwich, for example, has many people that formerly spent time as volunteers at the Bureau. But for others, just the learning and development of skills is enough, and they're satisfied with that, and they don't necessarily want to move on to paid work.
So the Learning and Skills Council sees the third sector very much as a vehicle for enhancing personal development and the economy of Norfolk as a result.
A lot of the Skill Up campaign is focused on the private sector, for-profit businesses, and also in the public sector. But you know, the voluntary sector is an enormously important part of the Norfolk economy. Once a voluntary sector organisation decides it wants to upskill its people, I think it needs to decide how that might be done. There may be funding available, or equally it may be about developing the skills in-house to share amongst the people, their staff, or indeed through working with other voluntary sector organisations.
Volunteers are learning new skills and putting them to good effect in virtually every walk of life. Here in this beautiful wildlife haven in Norfolk, there are some conservation volunteers doing just that. Many of these volunteers hope to use their newfound skills to get jobs.
In the position I am in now, with not much of a CV, not much experience and lots of work, and not a lot of work out there, it's not very easy for me to get the skills and experience, but volunteering is a very easy way to do it. No expense, just go out and have some fun and learn things at the same time. I've loved it.
I didn't really know how to use all the equipment like rake and saws and things like that. So there's those sorts of skills, but also I think the sort of generic skills like sort of working in a team, like motivation and things like that, like looking at a task and seeing how long it's going to take and sort of pacing yourself and things like that, which can all be transferred into sort of work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to get out of the house, meet other people, have the interaction, you know, that social connection with other people. We'll get people from all sorts of walks of life here. Yeah, lots of new skills to learn.
We live in an experience economy. If customers get a good experience, they come back, which is why Norfolk's economy is going to be enhanced by volunteers.
We want to get the message across just how important skills are within the voluntary sector, whether they want to improve the services they offer to their clients or meet the challenges ahead. We think skills are important for the voluntary sector as they are for the private sector and for the public sector.